Alright, so before I get into like the meat and potatoes of this article, I actually wanted to explain something real quick. This article is actually the reason, well, not this article in particular, but articles like this or this topic like this is actually the only reason why I actually started doing YouTube videos in the first place. Because quite literally, when I heard the whole concept of video game violence versus like real world violence and shit like that, I really something happened that day, man. I swear, like I don't get what it was, but something happened around like last year or 2 years ago where like the whole real life violence and its correlation to video game violence tried to like, when like a lot of school shootings were happening and people tried to really blame it on Fortnite. That's when I was like, absolutely not. I gotta throw my hat in the ring on all this stuff because truth be told, man, I've been playing this stuff since like, like the first Nintendo, not the first Nintendo, but like, I had a Genesis and all that good shit. But regardless of which, with all the stuff that I saw and did back then as a kid, not once has a video game ever really conflicted me to like want to do like actual violence. And I live in Baltimore. So I really don't want to hear that. But regardless of which, this is an article by City University in London. Actually, let me see if I can get a name. I really don't want to diss this person. Agna Susie Delight. Susie Delight? Is that really her name? Holy crap. Susie Delight? I'm not making fun of that last name. That's actually it's kind of sick. Anyway, man. So, just a game. Study shows no evidence that violent video games lead to real life violence. Who would have thought? This article goes on to show, actually, let me zoom this shit in so bad. You guys know me, I'm getting old. As the latest Call of Duty video game is released in the UK today, and with Battlefield 2042 and a remastered Grand Theft Auto trilogy to follow later this month, new research finds no evidence that violence increases after a new video game is released. And that's actually kind of true because, like, there was a time when people actually tried to link the stuff that happened with Rockstar Games to actual real world violence. And someone actually tried to prove that because the game is called Grand Theft Auto, that was the reason why a lot of carjacking started happening during the first opening of the pandemic. But I continue on to read. Mass media and the general public often link violent video games to real-life violence, although there is limited evidence to support the link. Debate on the topic generally intensifies after mass public shootings, with some commentators linking these violent acts to the perpetrators' interest in violent video games. However, others have pointed out that different factors such as mental health issues and/or easy access to guns are likely the explanations. In the light of these conflicting claims, President Obama called in 2013 for more government funding for research on video games and violence. But before governments introduce any policies restricting access to violent video games, it is important to establish whether violent video games do indeed make players behave violently in the real world. So, it goes on to say research done by Agna Susie Delights. I really hope I'm saying her name right. A senior lecturer in the Department of Economics at City University of London provides evidence of the effects of violent video game releases on children's violent behavior using data from the US. Dr. Susie Delight examined the effects of violent video games on two types of violence. One, aggression against other people, and two, destruction of things/property. The study, published on the Journal of Economic Behavior and Organization, focused on boys aged between 8 to 10 years old, the group most likely to play violent video games. Dr. Susie used econometric methods to identify plausibly causal effects of violent video games on violence, rather than only associations. She found no evidence that violence against other people increases after a new violent video game is released. Parents reported, however, that children were likely to destroy things after playing violent video games. Dr. Susie said, taken together, these results suggest that violent video games may agitate children, but this agitation does not translate into violence against other people, which is the type of violence we care most about. A likely explanation for my result is that video game playing usually takes place at home, where opportunities to engage in violence are a lot lower. This incapacitation effect is especially important for violent-prone boys who may be especially attracted to violent video games. Therefore, policies that place restrictions on video game sales to minors are unlikely to reduce violence. And honestly, yo, the article is not even that long. It doesn't get super detailed with the results of everything that was happening, but regardless of which, it's like this topic has been kind of discussed, I want to say honestly, since 2011. Honestly, probably way before that. For people who are familiar with the Columbine High School, I believe it was, incident way back in the day. Uh, the topic of video game violence versus real life violence has been a heavy debate, but all in all, it's like I say before, the problem is that if you are someone who actually plays video games, you know that this type of stuff just isn't necessarily true. And like I said, I truly believe that it's more of a conditioning of where you are conditioned as you play those games at a young age. So a guy like me, I grew up with both of my parents, but I was still growing up in like bad neighborhoods. But with the reinforcement that I had from both of my parents not to do certain things, I obviously knew not to do certain things, right? I really do think that it's more of a nature versus nurture type of thing. And I really do believe that it comes down to whether you have a good parenting or a good someone higher up to really still guide you through a lot of things in life. However, if you are, let's say, you do not have your parents, you do not have a friend, you do not have a decent social life, you do not have someone to kind of like pull you back and say, hey, that's not something that you're supposed to be doing in life, then you're gonna kind of lead on to going into doing violent acts. But truth be told, it's just like she said, like just because that child gets violent doesn't mean that they are violent towards other people. It's just a slight agitation. Like people are allowed to get agitated over certain things, but not once have I ever actually tried to shoot my friend over a Yu-Gi-Oh card game or actually try to rip my friend's throat out because I played Mortal Kombat or anything. Like it's a really weird, it's an easy discussion, but it's a weird discussion when it comes from like people that just don't play video games at all. Like granted, I have an association with a lot of things in life, but not once does that ever have a correlation with other things that has a final result. Regardless of which, like I said, I'm not a doctor or anything, but quite literally, the one thing that I found more fascinating than playing video games themselves is honestly the psychological effect that video games can have on other people. Like, hands down, I think that's way more interesting than just playing Call of Duty. Like, if you don't know the effect that video games have on your mental state, you're really missing out on what the fuck video games actually do. But hey, as always, that's just me. You don't have to listen to me, but pretty sure I'm on the right path to know what I'm talking about. You know?